this state and how ultimately we've got a plan to move this state forward. I think in contrast, you saw yet again the mayor didn't answer the questions. He doesn't have a plan when it comes to budget. He doesn't have a plan when it comes to economic development. And he desperately wants to talk about anything except jobs and accept our positive reforms because they're working. That's what this was all about. It's supposedly about our reforms, but we've shown, we've documented more than $1 billion worth of savings for the taxpayers of the state. We've shown that property taxes have gone down for the first time in 12 years on a median valued home. Because of that, Wisconsin now has a $154 million budget surplus. And as we've pointed out repeatedly, Wisconsin has gained more than 30,000 new jobs since I've taken office. And yet again, we have this week, again, validation, this time from the federal government. The numbers that were collected from nearly 160,000 employers in the state show that Wisconsin gained jobs in 2011. We're gaining jobs in 2012. As the front of the Journal Sentinel showed this morning, the hiring outlook in the state is bullish because employers who in the past thought things were heading the wrong direction, heading backwards, just 2 years ago, 10% of those surveyed said Wisconsin was going in the right direction. All the rest were concerned. Now 94% of our employers believe we're heading in the right direction. The best thing we can do to get moving forward, to move on and move forward, and to get our state working even better in the future is to get past this election on June 5th. So with that, I'll take a couple questions before we head up.
What does it say across the country, watching this race? What does it say to the nation, given the issues that being is relief or is he not?
Well, I think it's clear in a couple of counts. One, in terms of who's in charge of government, both the state and the local level. We stood up and took on the powerful special interest. I think it sends a message across the state and across the country that when we prevail with the help of the voters on Tuesday, it'll send a message, and it's something I've heard for years from Democrat, Republican voters alike. People have complained to me for years that politicians, be it at the local, the state, or the federal level, don't have the courage to take on the tough issues, the issues that people fundamentally know need to be taken on. We took on those issues. We thought more about the next generation than we did just about the next election. I think voters expect us to do this, and this sends a powerful message that if you do that, not just as a Republican governor, but I think there's a lot of discerning Democrat governors and mayors across the country who will look closely at this and realize, you know what, we can take on these tough issues. We can move our states and our country forward. I think it's a powerful, powerful message for the future. And conversely, I think it goes the opposite direction. I think it sets aside political courage for years if things don't go off favorably after Tuesday's election.
In one exchange tonight, Governor, the mayor likened one of your ads to a really important white gap. He said you should be ashamed. What reaction have you had?
Not at all. I think people are surprised and concerned that the mayor, when he gave his State of the City address, when he ran a month later, when he was running for mayor of the city of Milwaukee, and then the month after that, when he was running in the Democrat primary for governor, went across this state telling people that one of the key reasons to vote, if not the reason to vote for him, was that his leadership had brought down a decrease in violent crime in the city. Most people are surprised when they see that the facts show, after the Journal Sentinel's investigative report, that violent crime sadly is not down in the city of Milwaukee. It's up. I think people are tremendously concerned about that, and they're even more concerned when they learn that the city of Milwaukee still has not released hundreds of cases under an open records request that might further show that violent crime sadly could be even higher. My home is just a few blocks from the city of Milwaukee, a few blocks from where I stood with the Milwaukee Police Association the other day, who represent the good men and women of the Milwaukee Police Department, who the paper, Don, you correctly pointed out the other day, the paper clearly pointed out this is not the fault of the rank and file. That's not how it's been defined in the paper. It's not how I defined it, certainly not how the NPA defined it. But I think the mayor needs to ensure that the city of Milwaukee will provide that information to the Journal Sentinel so voters have a chance to know what's really happening in the city of Milwaukee.
Do you say he's directly responsible for miscoding?
No. I'm saying my issue with that is twofold. One, just as the governor set aside a candidate, I want to know what's really happening, because I think when you look at violent crime going up and you look at past budgets where the mayor has allowed for furloughs of police officers, where there's staffing openings still available in the Milwaukee Police Department, and other challenges that the Milwaukee Police Association has clearly laid out, I think it's important to know whether crime is up or down when it comes to violent crime. But as a candidate, I think it was particularly legitimate is if it was good for him to say, as a candidate, when he thought violent crime was down, that should be a judgment on his part of success. I think in reverse, It's obviously a legitimate question for voters. Now that we know that violent crime was down, I think that should beg the question. If it was good when it was down, does it mean it's a sign of failed leadership now that we know that violent crime was actually up? I'll take one more
So
quick
you're
one.
more comfortable, Governor,